the Transcending Gateway. And this is kind of, over time, becoming the icon of Detroit. Just like Cloud Gate, just like the Gateway Arch. This is Detroit's right here, Transcending. And it's a 63-foot tall ring. And around the base, if you look at the bottom right-hand side, around the base of the ring, there's a green granite spiral that wraps around and leads you to the center of the gateway. And this, like all these other things, is a gift to Detroit for the 300th birthday. It's a United Auto Workers monument. And, well, these are the two guys who designed it. On the left is Sergio D'Agusti. On the right is David Bard. Sergio D'Agusti did the green boulders we'll see today. And David Bard did the giant stainless steel ring. And they had a competition. 120 guys came down here, walked around Hart Plaza, to see what fit in. These two guys came up with a Stargate-looking monument, just so happened to fit in, and they won the commission. Now, according to David Bard, the guy who did the ring, to me this thing looks like a Stargate. I mean, it's kind of undeniable. But this is a United Auto Workers monument. It's actually supposed to be a giant gear protruding from the earth. Well, I mean, it kind of looks like a giant gear, I get that. But it's, over the years, taken on the nickname of the Stargate. All your friends say, meet me down at the Stargate, So I wrote David Bard and I asked him, I said, David, I know this is supposed to be symbolic of a gear, but I'm looking into some unconscious symbolism. Did a Stargate ever cross your mind? Honestly, didn't expect a response, But David Bard wrote me back. And he said, sorry, Chad, Stargate never crossed my mind. But, that being said, the green granite spiral that leads around and through the center of the gateway takes a visitor on a contemplative walk that allows them to leave the grid of the city for the sphere of space. Well, that sounds like a Stargate to me, So sometimes these guys will even unconsciously tell you what they designed and not realize it,
No, they know it. It's just,
And one thing I noticed is after you point it out to them, then they become very interested in what you have to say about it. So let's look at a few of David Bard's other works. This is in Warren. This has become the icon of Warren. This is called Dawn, Dawning of a New Day. And what? It's on the police cars. It's on all the city signs. I mean, this symbolism's really working its way into the culture. At night, it lights up the colors of a giant rainbow ring. What's David doing now? Well, he's doing what's called the Baseline Project, Bridging Borders. And he's creating black and white granite obelisks. And he's going to place these across the entire baseline of the state of Michigan. This is Michigan's baseline. Actually, in Detroit, it's known as 8 Mile Road. It runs across the entire state. And when you get to the baseline and the meridian, which is Michigan's point of origin, there's a unique landlocked park that designates the spot where all townships, ranges, and section measurements begin for the entire state of Michigan, but it's not accessible to the public, but it's being preserved for historic value. So, unfortunately, Michigan's point of origin is in a public park that's not accessible to the public. So that's kind of a bummer, but if you come back next year, I plan on sneaking in here and get some better pictures. So what David Bard's really doing, symbolically speaking, is he's creating an energetic line across the entire state of Michigan that leads to Michigan's point of origin. I mean, this guy's into energy, earth energies. That's what this guy does. This is the monument that sits there in this unpublic public park.
where is that, Joe?
Just outside of Jackson. Yep, just outside of Jackson. And one of David Bard's first projects, this was called the Four Corners Projects. And this project, he took crystal pyramids and created a worldwide tetrahedron, putting these crystal pyramids at Easter Island, South Africa, New Guinea, Greenland, creating this is the world's largest sculpture. I mean, in a way, this is the world's largest sculpture. And he incorporated the tetrahedron energy within the entire Earth. The entire Earth. So I think that's what this guy does. He works with sacred geometry. He works with earth energies. So it's Shouldn't be that much of a surprise to us that he tuned in to Sam Noguchi's Stargate Park when he came down here for the contest. And well, he envisioned a Stargate. I'll talk a little bit about the green granite boulders that line the spiral that takes the visitor on a trip from the grid of the city, the sphere of space. And well, one in particular I want to point out. These were done by Sergio D'Agostino. This one here has a relief of Dr. Martin Luther King on it. And so it has a quote from his I Have a Dream speech beneath it. And the reason this is here, this precise area, the exact area at the base of Woodward and Jefferson, is where Dr. Martin Luther King, as well as hundreds of thousands of freedom fighters, gathered previous to delivering his I Have a Dream speech for the very first time, before he gave it in Washington, D.C. The way this worked was there was hundreds of thousands of these guys fight, battle for their lives, battle for freedom. They joined arm in arm down here at the base of Jefferson and Woodward and started singing songs of freedom. We shall overcome in the battle line of the Republic. They then marched into adjoining Cobo Hall, where he delivered his I Have a Dream speech for the very first time. Very first time. I think he was feeling the cosmic energies too. And well, the main reason I say that is how he decided to conclude his speech. I have a dream this afternoon that the brotherhood of man will become a reality this day. And with this faith, I will go out and carve a tunnel of hope through the mountains of despair. And with this faith, I'll go out with you and transform dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. With this faith, we're going to be able to achieve this new day when all of God's children, black men, white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands with the Negroes and sing the spirituals of old. Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. I want to repeat this one phrase one more time. And with this faith, I will go out and carve a tunnel of hope through the mountains of despair. With this faith, I'll go out with you and transform dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. Alchemically speaking, we're Stargate vernacular. He's talking about carving wormholes to cosmic freedom, or even cosmic consciousness. Now granted, this sounds a little out there. Dr. Martin Luther King tapped into a cosmic consciousness? Well, I can say there's some, with a little bit of confidence because he isn't the only one. All kinds of people come to this precise area and have these incredible experiences. This is rock star David Bowie. 10 years after Martin Luther King's here, David Bowie comes to town, same exact location, Cobo Hall, and he's about to deliver a 2-night rock show. He goes on Friday night, plays the rock show, all goes well. Next day, they're waiting in their hotel room to go on that night. This is, by the way, this is off my book, written by his wife, Angela Bowie, first-hand account. So anyway, they're waiting for the rock show the next night in their hotel room. 6 o'clock evening news comes on. There's been a crashed U.F.O. just outside of Detroit, 4 dead aliens, and the army is on it. So David Bowie was pretty blown back by this. Actually went on stage at Cobo, told the crowd there's been a crashed UFO, and well, I think the remaining aliens are most likely above Cobo Hall, hovering above it. They want to see what kind of energy we put off in this show. So David Bowie goes on, plays this incredible, powerful show, goes back to watch the news that night, they want to see what happened with the UFO. Well, all the news reporters from the 6 o'clock news have been fired. Some brand new reporters come on and say sorry for the hoax that those boat reporters perpetrated on the city, but that's all it was. It was a hoax. End of the story. That's where it stops. So, I wouldn't believe that. I'm sure a lot of you wouldn't. David Bowie sure didn't. And what he does is he sends his assistant out downtown Detroit. He's like, go find the biggest telescope.